to my channel, I'm Nix. I recorded the next video prior to Cyril's address regarding the corruption in SAPS. So if you have watched that video, one or two points might be repetitive, not a lot, but the content is still very relevant because it continues to highlight the repetitiveness of how the ANC manage this country. Before I dive into today's video, just a quick shout out to all of my subscribers. You guys helped me reach 1,000 subscribers. So just a quick shout out. Thank you, all of you. I really appreciate the support. So for a while now, I've had this idea about a video to showcase the absolute repetitiveness of Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa. So after doing a bit of analysis, Notebook LM, ChatGPT, I was surprised to find that Cyril has made more than 50 statements and promises about improving South Africa every single year since 2018 in every single one of his State of the Nation addresses. Yeah, 50 repetitive promises and commitments since he came into presidency in 2018. Repetitive, over and over and over. In fact, that's how I came up with the name for this video. Rinse and repeat, Ramaphosa. Cool, let's dive right in. So before we begin, you know the routine. Like and share this video, gets the message out there. And then, of course, if you're new to my channel, subscribe. I love the support and I hope you will enjoy the content. So I've randomly selected some of his grand plans, promises, and commitments to us since 2018. And I think let's quickly do a bit of a performance evaluation. Let's see how Cyril Ramaphosa is tracking. So one of the promises featured in every single State of the Nation address is the completion of the analog to digital migration. And the importance of this is that it would lower data costs and enable 5G infrastructure. And it would promote broadband rollout in underserved areas. I mean, that is one of the biggest issues we have in South Africa. So I'm going to take you through the latest news on that promise from Cyril Ramaphosa. Let's see how he's doing. One government project is 14 years late and crushed an industry and entire companies. I will leave the link for this article in the description. I just want to point out a couple of things. South Africa has been gearing up to migrate from its old analog terrestrial TV system to a standard DTT system for 10 years before the 2011 deadline. So since 2001, they've been gearing up to migrate. I hope this isn't the pace of transformation and reform. So you would have required a box to enable your analog TV to read digital signal. Great. That's this little picture over here. It looks like a DSTV decoder. It would have enabled people without satellite TV to watch the new digital TV signal. Government promised that indignant households would get subsidized, locally made little boxes. However, the cracks started to show in February 2010 when ICASA warned that the analog switch-off might be delayed to 2013. In 2010, the Department of Communications upended all the work done since 2001 to appease the Brazilian government. If there's one thing the ANC is very good at, is appeasing. Appease this government, appease this group of people, appease, appease, appease. Please grow our economy. It's a small favor, but it should be easy enough to do. So Brazil lobbied South Africa to switch to the Japanese standard that it had adopted, hoping to expand its DTT ecosystem and license its middleware to South Africa. So, reading between the lines, the Brazil did a deal with the ANC. This, by the way, this whole stuff up, I guess we could call it, directly impacted listed companies like Ellie's and Altron, as well as the three entities appointed to produce and distribute government-subsidized boxes, which were CZ Electronics, BUA Africa, and Leratadima Marketing Solutions. The sharp price decline for Ellie's stock, who cares about that? So this bumbling of the rollout led to a share price decline of 80% for Ellie's between 2013 and 2014, an 80% drop in 1 year, and the company continued to lose value as it searched for new revenue streams, which finally led to it liquidating in... when did it liquidate? Which finally brought Ellie's to be placed in business rescue in January 2024. So not only is the government not growing our economy, they are destroying our economy and destroying well-to-do South African-built businesses. All so that Brazil can get their middleware to South Africa. Wow. You have no standards. Just following on from that, so having missed the initial deadline for the digital migration in June 2015, Cabinet declared that 31 March 2025 would be the ultimate date. Nothing of the ANC is ultimate. They don't know what a deadline is. Effectively, this would result in millions of South Africans losing access to television. So before March 31st, some applicants sent correspondence for a further postponement to the minister. And the minister, said that it would be deliberated on the 4th of December 24. The reality, however, was that after the meeting on 4 December, the stakeholders were never informed that the minister or cabinet were considering setting the cutoff for 31 March 2025, nor were they invited to comment on this. This was contrary to the requirement for consultation. For the amount of laws and regulations this country has, it surprises me that the government get up to all of this. Do not do as I do. You must do as I say. ANC, do not do as I do. You must do as I say. So the second very repetitive promise made every single year since 2018 from rinse and repeat, Ramaphosa, is to create and enable an environment for business and investment. Oh, I mean, what can we even say about that? Because you know what? I don't have to say anything. Let me show you. This is a nice picture of GDP annual growth rate since 2020. Between the beginning of 2022, 2.5%, we have gone to 2023, 0.5, 2024, 0.5, 2025, 0.8. That is a dismal economic growth. This is a representation of foreign direct investment into South Africa since 2016, and there's 2018. I don't know about you, but it's a dismal failure. Bar Q3 in 2021. That's not an environment for businesses and investment. The next repetitive promise made by rinse and repeat Ramaphosa is economic growth. But honestly, he says that every single time he stands up in front of a microphone. BEE and the current process with Starlink are two classic examples of how rinse and repeat Ramaphosa continues to fail the economy, continues to fail the citizens of South Africa, continues to not deliver on economic growth. I'm so tired of hearing his repetitiveness, honestly. Okay, and the last promise or commitment that I want to talk about, and this is the hot topic right now: prosecute state capture perpetrators. We're still waiting. We could only wish to live in a world where rinse and repeat Ramaphosa works as quickly to deal with state capture perpetrators as he did with Andrew Whitfield. Funny thing is now we've seen that he is capable of it. So it's not because he's incapable of applying accountability. It's a choice that he doesn't do it. So, Zondo Commission and state capture. Let's do a quick update on how state capture is doing. Again, I will leave the link for this article in the description. So, on 25th June, the latest cabinet meeting took place. Ministers discussed issues ranging from international relations, safety and security, to flood disaster management. Attendees also received an update regarding progress on the implementation of President Cyril Ramaphosa's response to the recommendations of the State Capture Commission. The action plan was laid out in October 2022. So 3 years later, we're still looking for the progress on the implementation of his response to the recommendations, not the implementation of his recommendations. Listen very carefully, guys. It's very important that you read this the way it is. Implementation of Cyril's response to the recommendations. So it's only the implementation of his response. It'll take another 3 years to implement the recommendations. I'm going to be very grey by the time I see the end of state capture in this country. So, progress reports have been sparse and improvements have been slow in coming. But they have at least been regular. Nearly 3 years after the release of the government response, key highlights include etc., etc., etc. I'm not, they're recovering assets. Great. What I'm interested in is major reforms. I just highlighted one example, and I do in many of my other videos, how the government implements laws and policies. But what the boop is the point if you're not going to follow them, if you're not going to implement them? Same as Cyril. What's the point of having these policies if you don't implement it? What's the point of having a gazillion billion rand cost to a document this thick about what about Zondo Commission, but you don't implement it? The same as the laws. So here, for state capture, they say major reforms, including the enactment of 8 new laws. Woohoo! Addressing corruption, procurement, intelligence services, and corporate accountability. Not government accountability, corporate accountability. OMG. One of the funniest things I find is that National Treasury appears in the 2024 corruption report in the top 10 list for deviations and contract expansions. In that 2024 corruption report, it actually says it is concerning to note National Treasury's appearance in deviations and expansions, showing a not fit for purpose system. So, that very institution that can't even follow the legislations it puts in place has imposed a 10-year ban on Bain & Co. on doing business with the state. Sure you did. By the way, which Bain is challenging in court. Like I always say, the ridiculous is the ridiculousness of the absolute ridiculousness of ridiculous. And then compare it to the professional and regulatory actions. So Department of Public Enterprise referred 71 former directors of state-owned entities to the CIPC, Companies and Intellectual Property Commission, for delinquency proceedings. This resulted in 9 active court cases. We went from 71 directors forwarded to 9 active court cases. I hope you're bundling these people into multiple court cases, because yowza. And here, private sector, 10, 6 investigations, 8 new unit referrals. You're all over the private sector. It's shocking. Essentially, I just want to highlight that since 2018, we have heard the exact same promises across multiple categories from this president. And nothing's happened. If anything, it's getting worse. And now we have the whole tariffs debacle. And Mr. Ramaphosa says that Trump is uninformed and he's using the incorrect data. Do you just have to visit the economics.com website, search for South Africa, use the little filter list, and you can see the dismal failure of South Africa, which is a direct result of the ANC's corrupt, politically willed efforts to absolutely destroy everything that works. So, that's my ramble for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Obviously, if you like this video, make sure to share and drop me a thumbs up. If you're new, I hope you enjoyed the content and the approach. Make sure to subscribe. I really appreciate the support, and it really helps YouTube to recognize my channel. Other than that, I hope you're keeping warm. Keep well, guys. Over and out.